And I end up winning. with two. I end up winning.
What?
Wait.
You took time to say that right.
You said it right the first time, though.
I end up
winning.
I wound up winning. That's what I meant to say.
Hello, welcome to episode 4 of the All Chat Gaming Podcast. I am this week's host, Tanner, and I'm with
Keefin,
Ryan,
And Nick.
Okay, so last time, let's just have a little recap. We talked about hardcore versus casual gamer, and how did that go?
It was a pretty hardcore discussion.
Okay, now we're done.
Sorry you asked.
Okay, but actually, so we're starting to put more content onto YouTube, a lot of Let's Plays, and the schedule for publishing that content is Keefin.
Yeah, so right now we have it. Monday is our podcast day. Wednesday is a Let's Play, and Friday is a Let's Play, and then we may every once in a while have like a supplemental either just thing that we're doing or maybe another Let's Play depending on how much we film in a week. But the majority of the time right now we're sticking with 3 to make sure we're getting that quality out. But yeah, so Monday, Wednesday, Friday is when you're going to want to check out the channel. What?
Don't you mean quantity?
I said quality, didn't I?
You said quality.
Yeah, I want quality. 3 videos is not very much.
That's quantity.
He's emphasizing quality over quantity.
Come on, Ryan, keep up.
Oh my goodness.
Anyways, okay. So now, moving on, we are also going to start publishing all these podcasts on SoundCloud. Ryan's taking care of that, and we're working on getting them on iTunes and hopefully Spotify as soon as we can. That way you can listen to it other than just YouTube.
And making a Facebook channel.
Yeah.
Page, whatever they are.
We're making a Facebook page.
channel.
Shut up.
Yeah,
Facebook channel.
that thing. It's only going to be exclusively on the Facebook story.
An hour podcast on a Facebook and Instagram story.
And Snapchat. All the best places for content.
Yeah. And so if you missed the podcast on Snapchat, it's lost.
It's gone forever.
Okay. Okay, so let's move on to actually talking about what we played this week. So this week, we talked last time about trying to beat Retribution on Legendary. We got so close. We got so close.
Well, how close exactly?
We were like probably a minute or 2 away.
Yeah, all we had to do was beat the last 2
Heavies.
The bigs.
The bigs.
Good for the sound.
What did he drop?
There's the mouse.
There's the mouse.
Good job.
All we had to do was beat those 2 guys, and we would have won.
On Legendary, just FYI.
On Legendary.
Yeah, because they're hardcore gamers.
Hardcore.
Yeah, exactly. After our discussion, it's like we have to become hardcore.
Did you do some hardcore parkour?
No, because I was too fat from gaming all day.
I was Torbjorn, and everyone knows that Torbjorn can't wall climb yet, so...
Not yet.
No. But so some news on that. I got my wife to play Retribution with me, and she loved it. Actually, like I've gotten her to play Overwatch. She's so about it. Doesn't really like it that much, but she loved Retribution, and so now it kills me that it's gone because now.
So you should get Left 4 Dead too.
I actually was asking some different gaming groups about games or events that are like Retribution, and a lot of people mentioned.
Or Vermintide.
Well, I don't know what that is, but a lot of people mentioned Destiny.
Vermintide's free.
Destiny.
Well,
Apparently, there are events in Destiny like it. Now, I don't know if these people were just like, oh, it's a first-person shooter game, so yeah, it's like it. I mean...
I would not say... Like, so Rainbow Six did a similar thing they called Outbreak, where it was pretty much the same thing. But if you want a game that's like that, Left 4 Dead 2 or Vermintide are going to be like basically that exact same thing, but that's their actual game with multiple maps, with multiple different like checkpoints and everything. So it's like checkpoints with people There's
So
in Left 4 Dead it's zombies.
Player versus environment.
Yes, so in Left 4 Dead it's zombies. And
Okay.
they have different zombies. They have like the tank zombie. They have the spitter one. They have the one that like jumps on you and like starts stabbing you so you can't move and someone has to help you. They have the one that grabs you and takes you away.
Okay.
Very similar to what all of those games put in, but
Yeah, I
Left 4 Dead
remember Vermintide.
that I know started it.
When we played Vermintide, that stupid rat thing that kept on dragging me away.
Yeah.
Vermintide 2 is out, by the way. There's a second one.
I know.
We should play it.
Okay. Other than that, I actually spent a lot of time playing Half-Life Source. We talked about it.
About one or two.
It's
That's
number
the first
one.
one.
Yeah, but it's revamped on a new engine, so it looks better. It still doesn't look that good though.
There's only so much.
Well,
you
yeah,
can
well, I
do.
have Gary's mod, which is what is kind of based on all that stuff.
Well, so did you guys play Half-Life?
No.
I did.
Okay, this first one, like I thought it would be more like Fallout, but I'm literally in that one place so far this whole time. Do I just stay in that?
It's not an
Science
open.
facility?
It's not an open world. Yeah, you pretty much stay in the. I mean, you might go outside a few times, but
And I have like twice, and it's like, oh, he's free, but he can't really get out because there's mountains in the way. So,
yeah, I mean,
so the whole game takes place right there.
Mm-hmm.
Huh. Interesting.
Not open world.
And the others, are they like that too?
You mean the other? Isn't there only two?
The other, right? Yeah. There's not a free.
There's not a
And there
3.
never will be.
It won't ever be.
What about the second
But
one?
it's like the second one's pretty good, but it's still not open world.
Okay. Well.
I mean, it
Now I
feels
know.
more open world-ish just because like you can drive a car in it, and you can go a little further. And there's like the world is a little more. It's a little bigger, but it's not open world by any means.
Okay. Well, that's what I played. Keithan.
Oh, wow. I have a lot to talk about because school's done, and we got a Switch, and I got Hitman. So, yeah, I'm going to talk for a while probably. So, I've been playing a lot of Zelda because it's awesome. Besides the fact that I'm terrible with Nintendo controllers because it's nothing like an Xbox controller. What are you doing?
Zelda.
Oh. Right. So I'll all the time confuse A and B because they're the exact opposite.
Because it's the opposite of the Xbox
and it
controller.
pisses me off that the accept button isn't closest to your movement. Like, I feel like that would make sense. Also, I'm coming from a place of being an Xbox player for years. So, it's a problem sometimes. I'll be trying to do stuff and I'll completely screw it up and I'll be like, but yeah, and I feel like most of the shrines I've enjoyed. There was one that I thought was terrible.
Which one, do you know?
It was the one where basically you have to control a maze with a ball, but you have to use motion controls.
I
And
agree.
that pissed me off to no end.
So
Do not
bad.
make someone use motion controls, because I feel like that isn't a matter of skill, it's a matter of frustration at that point. Like, I like that I could go in the maze to get the chest, like you had to actually like lower it and jump into it. I was like, that's a cool addition, because most of these, that would be like a mini game almost. In this, it was part of the world. Thought that was cool. But it pissed me off that I had to use motion controls, because they're not that great.
They're horrible.
And
Good for aiming, though.
To be fair,
For the bow.
I also do not usually play in the handheld mode. I prefer it on my TV. I
Yeah.
like seeing it bigger. I like playing with an actual controller more. I don't actually have the Elite or Pro controller, whatever it's called.
The Pro.
But we did buy an extra set of Joy-Cons with the whatever it's called,
The grip.
the grip. When that makes it a lot more controller-esque. And so I play
Still
it
don't
that
like
way.
it that way, though.
Yeah, it's better.
It's better than separate Joy-Cons.
So I've been playing a lot of Zelda, but other than those complaints, and okay, my last complaint, I know it sounds like I hate the game, but I actually love it. My other complaint is the voice acting. It's so random. Like, I know that that's Nintendo, and I know that that's Zelda, but they also have voice acting.
Well, this is like the first game where
Sometimes.
they've had serious voice acting.
Right, but
Yeah.
don't have me talk to someone, and then they go into their storytelling mode, and all of a sudden they're talking. And the moment it cuts back out to, like, just where you're cycling through things, out of the story mode, it's back to them going, "Her, hi,
Yeah, that is a little
Like, at
off-putting.
least keep it going for that part. Or at least make it so that character always has it. Because there's not a lot of characters that tell a huge story.
Not really.
Wait,
And,
I have a question.
yeah.
Does Link actually have...
Of course not.
No.
Okay, that would be crazy.
I figured.
I would not
I
buy
haven't even
that
played
game.
Zelda, and I know that that's like...
Does he still say, yeah?
Yeah, of course.
He always does.
But other than that,
That's
like,
his thing.
I love the idea that you can climb anywhere. I love that. I love that you can cut down grass and that you can find things in there. Like, I love that there's wildlife that exists in the world. The glider's also awesome. I like that they have the upgrade system where you can upgrade stamina and health because the stamina, man, runs out real quick.
Yes, it does.
Especially when you're running.
Get a
It's
full
really
stamina
frustrating.
wheel.
It's really frustrating.
Yeah, it's bad.
But also the cooking, like that you can cook random stuff that you collect from stuff and make random meals that are sometimes good and give you like special bonuses like heat resistance or electricity resistance, just tons of different stuff. So it's really cool. And I love, like, the graphics, obviously very Nintendo, but they're still very pretty.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
it's a very pretty
gorgeous
game.
game.
It's very cel shaded, so it'll hold up better, honestly. But it is very Nintendo. Another gripe that I have is that while playing not on handheld mode, there is some FPS drops. Like, it can't always handle everything because of the output, and that's just obviously with the hardware they gave us. That's expected. So
Yeah.
I know what I'm expecting when I'm playing on my TV compared to the handheld mode. I mean, it's obvious that it's going to happen that way.
It's a tablet, after all.
Yeah, but it is a beautiful game, very well made. There's so much to it. There's so much variety to the different areas. There's jungles, there's deserts, there's mountains, there's like plains. Like it's pretty incredible. If you light stuff on fire, if it's dry, it'll spread. You can use that to push you up with the heat. It rises, so you'll be able to glide up with it sometimes. Like they've really put a ton of thought into it. If it rains, you start slipping when climbing.
Wow.
Like
Lightning can strike you.
especially if you have metal on.
If you have
so
metal
you're supposed
on.
to take metal off if you're up high and there's lightning going on because it could strike you. Like there's just a ton of thought, and there are very difficult enemies, and there are easier enemies. Like there's just a lot of thought into it, and it's pretty incredible. And I do wish a little bit that I'd played old Zelda games. I feel like it would make a bigger impression to see Hyrule destroyed. Spoiler alert. It's 100 years later.
Well, wouldn't be the first time.
And it's also the very beginning of the game, so I don't feel bad saying that because it's literally the beginning of the game.
Yeah.
But, like, so I feel like it would be a little bit more, amazing to see, like, the cathedral and the castle, like, all, like, dilapidated and all that kind of stuff. And you do see memories of them, so I do get a little bit of a picture of what they used to look like. But I
love
think
the memories.
that part would be a little bit more impressive had I already played. Then, so besides Zelda, which is most of my thing, I've been playing Hitman, which is awesome. But I think I talked about that last week anyways.
Yeah.
And I've also been playing some Mario Kart because we got that. And I mostly play that with Caitlin. And because she's a big Mario Kart person, and so she usually gets first place. I beat her like once. And I usually manage to get second against the computers, but not always. Because I'm pretty terrible sometimes. I also figured out, so there are some really annoying modes that they give you right away, which is like assisted driving. But if you try to go around like go through the center of some parts and there's two barriers right next to it, it might try to steer you away because it doesn't want you to steer into those. So if you don't turn that off, you have very little control. It's annoying. And then you also want to turn off motion controls for assisting, which I didn't know was a thing, because this was when we only had one set of Joy-Cons, so we'd each play on our own little mini Joy-Con, cramped hands.
I hate doing that because my hands are.
Yeah.
It's like this.
They're
That's
really
why we got
small.
another one, because that way we can both play it. But if we do want to play with more people, we can play up to 4. So we have the ability
You
to
just
play
won't
with
enjoy
4.
it.
Actually, you can play up to 7 because I have 3.
Right now, we can only do 4 though. But
I brought mine.
But you also, I had figured out you had to turn that off because if I'm holding my controller whichever way I want to, which is how I play games, is I don't always hold it like this. Then it kept messing me up, and I kept going left, and I was like, I don't know what's going on. Like, are the joysticks already broken and facing one way? And turns out, no, it was just the motion control was on.
The future is now, Keithan.
Yeah, so that frustrated me, but when I got that figured out, I was happy. And then I played a little bit of Mario Odyssey, not because it wasn't good, but because I just have Zelda. So I will get into Mario Odyssey because it is fun, and it is a really good game as well. So I will eventually get into that more. And then the last thing that I really played was Sea of Thieves with Ryan.
Yeah.
And boy, it was a good session.
Yeah, we accomplished a lot.
Tell us about it.
Yeah. Everything I wanted to accomplish, we accomplished.
Yeah. So, I mean, I know that there have been updates. I honestly haven't noticed anything too different about the game so far.
None of the major updates have come out.
I guess they're coming out with a bigger ship, from what I hear. But, well, when Keith and I were playing, it was just the two of us. We got, since I've played a lot more by myself, I have higher level missions, and so we did those. Killed a lot of skeletons, and we were able to. We didn't get robbed. We did find another ship that we took down. Initially, they actually killed both Kiefer and I, but they didn't sink our ship, and so by the time that we got back, we were able to kill them. And Kiefer had shot enough holes into their ship that they didn't pay attention to.
I actually hit them with a cannon. I felt so accomplished.
They only hit us, I think, once, maybe.
Yeah, I think they hit us once, and it was our upper level.
Yeah.
So it did nothing, basically.
But Kiefer got a few
like 5 or 6 good shots
main
on them.
ship hits. And so when we got back, killed the one person that was on our ship. Their ship had sunk.
And I wanted to get a sunken ship.
Oh yeah,
because I'd never done that
before.
before.
We went to the sunken ship, and those are disorienting. And it was funny to see Keefan's reaction because I've been on them before, so I knew what to expect. But Keefan hadn't been on it before, and so it's like the ship is upside down in the water, and so then when you're swimming in, it's like it can make you a little dizzy.
So not only do you have to worry about holding your breath, and a little bit more sluggish underwater. Then you have to worry about the ship being completely the wrong way. So what you're used to doing is exactly wrong.
Oh yeah.
So what I would try to do would be the exact wrong thing to do, and I'd end up getting trapped somewhere, and I'd be almost dead, and I'd somehow find like a pocket of air with a chest, and I'd be like.
Well, also eating a banana helps keep you alive somehow.
Underwater.
Underwater.
Yeah.
You can eat a bit. Like,
I mean, it's a cartoon game. What do you expect?
You just you swallow a lot of water with it.
Yeah, because your life starts to go down.
That's much better.
To be fair, that's like every video game though. Like in Zelda, you eat to gain life too.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, but like when you're drowning, your health is gradually going down, and then you can eat a banana, and then it goes back up, and then you just go.
But you're still drowning, but you just have more health to die with. so you just
you
have
like
longer to
prolong
get.
your suffering with a banana.
It reminds me of BioShock, where you could eat a bag of potato chips and that regenerates your health. I feel like that would slow you down or something.
So yeah, to kids watching this podcast, food heals your wounds.
Although Rooster Teeth did try to test that, and it doesn't work.
I don't know why they would try to test that.
Because they would do like a video game.
They would cut themselves and then like eat a banana.
No, it was more like they like got super drunk or like super exhausted, and they would try to see if eating food would fix you, especially eating terrible food for you.
No, that would not.
Well, that's the point.
That was it was just an excuse to get drunk.
They don't need an excuse.
That's fair. That's fair.
No, yeah, I played that, and then I played some Heroes of the Storm.
I also threw up on you.
Oh yeah,
and I was the first person to succeed.
Yeah, he was the first person to succeed in actually covering my screen in the.
And by the way, that was in real life. He actually threw up on him in real life.
Yeah, not Sea of Thieves.
That's what
I got super drunk, and I threw up on him, and I threw up in a bucket.
No, we're talking about Sea of Thieves, but no, I played Heroes.
Tell us about your Lunara game.
Oh no, I'd rather not.
Okay.
No, that was a bad game.
Well, now I'm curious. Now you have to tell us.
I just played terribly, and some guy told me to commit suicide.
Oh, so just a normal Heroes of the Storm game.
Like I said.
Not that you play horribly. I meant that.
Like I said, though,
people
as
are
games
bad
get
on
older,
the internet.
the community gets worse.
Yeah.
Yes.
People
are mean on the internet.
I bet you at the beginning of Heroes of the Storm that wouldn't have happened.
Probably not.
Probably just like the beginning of League, which I never was a part of.
Which one is older, Dota or League?
Dota. But Dota League is older than Dota 2, which is what they use now.
Okay.
But
I think that's correct.
The other game I played this week was actually Bendy and the Ink Machine.
Oh, yeah, they had a new chapter.
Yeah, they came out with Chapter 4. So I finished, because I hadn't finished Chapter 3 yet, and so I finished Chapter 3, and then I went on to Chapter 4.
Tell people what it is. What the game is.
Right. So Bendy and the Ink Machine it's a jump scare game. Your name is...
That actually kind of got me.
And I was drinking water at the time. It's a good thing I didn't spit it all over the microphone.
No, so you're a guy named Henry. You get invited to some, I guess, old cartoon factory that
studio.
studio, whatever.
Sorry, I was just actually wanting to clarify.
It was a studio. Yeah, cartoon studio, where I guess some of their creations came to life with a bunch of ink, and so like they created an ink machine that to avoid all the details and everything. It's pretty much just a jump scare game, and I really got in. I like jump scare games like Five Nights at Freddy's and Bendy and the Ink Machine. So once I saw that chapter 4, I was like I want to, because people kept on posting content about it on YouTube, and I didn't want any spoilers, and so I'm like, okay, I have to play this now so I can actually start watching these videos about the lore, because I like watching movies about lore, about like hidden stuff that I just maybe missed while I was playing the game myself. But they added a lot. It was way creepier with chapter 4 than it had been up until 3.
Is it free?
No.
Isn't the first chapter free though?
The first chapter is free, and then you have to pay like $5 per episode. So it's not terrible, but yeah, the first and they had updated it from the last time I had played it, because it had been a couple months since I actually played Bendy and the Ink Machine, and so when I played through chapter 2 and 3 again, there was actually some new content and new stuff that I hadn't seen from before. And I thought that was kind of cool. Like, the graphics were updated. They had a few extra scenes, and it was just...
So this is an early access game, or just a release by chapter game?
Release by chapter.
Okay.
And it was... They added a few different, like, not game mechanics, but some stuff that I wasn't expecting, because, like, you're given an axe throughout, not a lot of the game, but like a good chunk of the game, you're given an axe to kind of fight against some of these ink creatures that come at you. And but you actually have to fight a carnival ride.
Nice.
I would say that differentiates it from Five Nights at Freddy's, though, because that you couldn't fight. It was
No,
hide or die.
Yeah.
And you do move around in this.
Well,
game.
it's a first person.
Well,
game.
you also move around in some of the Five Nights at Freddy's games. Like the latest one, like you could actually like crawl through darkness.
Yeah, but it's not like... It's not
You're
the
right,
same.
it's not-
Bendy and the Ink Machine is like strictly first person. Like it's a first person game.
Yeah, and it's left off at a pretty crazy cliffhanger, so I'm really... Now I'm a little upset that I played Chapter 4 as soon as I did, because now I'm going to have to wait even longer for Chapter 5 to come out.
There's always more video games to play in the meantime.
Yeah, I'll just keep on trying to crawl my way out of Gold 5.
Crawl your way out of it? Back to silver?
So, it's like, because I haven't gotten to the lower tier of Gold 5, but like I keep on going from like the middle to a promo game to like just fluctuating in between. I'm in that spot they call Elo Hell, because I can't seem to get out of.
Not on my Christian podcast.
Okay, Captain.
Okay. Nick.
Well, I've been playing a lot of World of Warcraft lately, but before I get into that...
I also played that, but I mostly played that with him.
Yes, he did. So Overwatch Season 10 of competitive is now live. I think it went live this week. It was either this week or last week. And so Brigitte, I guess that's how you pronounce her name.
Really?
I think that's
Brigitte!
Wouldn't it be like
Brigitte?
Brigitte?
Brigitte. I think no, because her name is Swedish.
I don't know.
Her name is Swedish, so
okay.
I'm pretty sure that Jeff Kaplan in one of the updates when they revealed her, he said her name was Brigitte, but everyone just calls her Baguette or something like that.
That's exactly what I would have said. So
Yeah,
not
so
surprised.
there you go. But she's now live in competitive play, and Hanzo got a rework.
Oh, I did play Hanzo.
Oh, he did?
Yes, he did. So they got rid of Scatter Arrow.
Oh, wow. That's...
And he now has his new E ability is like, I don't know what it's called, but it's basically rapid fire with his
What
arrows.
is Scatter Arrow?
So Scatter Arrow, Keefan, was basically he shot one arrow and it scattered into like 4 or 5 other arrows. And the reason everybody wanted it gone was because what you could do is just shoot at somebody's feet and like insta kill them with like no skill involved.
Got it.
So they wanted to make him more fair and more skill reliant. So now he has a rapid fire mode where it just shoots like 5 or 6 arrows rapidly, and it actually requires aim. I will say that the arrows actually do quite a lot of damage in rapid fire, but they are a bit harder to hit. So I think he's a little bit more balanced.
Oh, and they give him a lunge ability.
Yeah, he has a lunge, like a jump ability. So
Okay.
he's more ninja-like.
It's not like The Exercise.
What?
Not like the lunges.
No.
exercise.
It's more like
Works out his legs.
it's more like a hop, kind of like.
Well, probably because he did lunges.
But yeah, so he's a lot more mobile now, and he feels really good to play now. Because Scatter Arrow was really inconsistent a lot, because sometimes it would insta-kill you, and then sometimes like it wouldn't do anything. So I think it's really nice that
he's
he's
the one that has the dragon ult.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, him and Genji
Throwing
both.
some knowledge out here.
Well, his brother
I know
Genji
stuff.
also has the dragon ult.
Well, let's
but,
just pretend I was only right about the one thing that I said.
but yeah, he feels so much better to play. I played my first 2 placement games, and the first game I played Hanzo, and I actually did pretty well because I could actually do more damage as Hanzo. Because when I miss my regular shots a lot, I can just pretend that I'm good by using rapid fire. So, yeah, he feels a lot better to play, and I end up winning my 2. I end up winning.
What?
Wait.
Just,
I
You like
can
took
English.
time to say that right.
You said it right the first time, though.
I end up
winning.
I wound up winning.
wound up.
That's what I meant to say. I wound up
I
winning.
think he had a stroke.
Hold on, guys. I need to take a sip of water. Whew.
Don't laugh.
I think he literally had a stroke.
I wound up.
I wound up wanting blah blah.
I ended up winning my first 2 placement games. There, I said it. And the second
Good
game,
job.
in the second game, I played as Roadhog, and I got some pretty good hooks. So, yeah, so I had some fun on Overwatch. I'm gonna do more placements later today. So yeah, having some fun in Overwatch with the new Hanzo. So then I've been playing World of Warcraft a lot lately. I made a priest, a human priest, and I've been having a lot of fun with that.
That looks like the Pope.
Yeah,
So do the priests... Okay, so there's a game called Hearthstone, if you're not aware.
Yes.
Made by Blizzard.
Yes, made by Blizzard.
And they have priests and warlocks and all that good
yeah.
stuff. Is it like the equivalent in a way? Like the character model? Or...
No, you can just create... You can customize your character.
Yeah.
But is the idea like priests are healers?
Well, yeah.
And well, like in Hearthstone, I think you can also there's a card that switches it up to a Shadow Priest because like they're the damage dealers.
The
like,
Shadow Priests are.
Yeah,
Okay.
for Priest, there's 2 damage,
No, there's 2 healing.
2 healing,
and then 1 damage
damage.
specialization.
So yeah, and you're a healing.
Yeah, so there's Discipline, Holy, and Shadow, and I'm Discipline.
I would definitely go Shadow.
And I know Discipline doesn't sound like a healing spec, but it is. So whatever, that's video game logic right there.
No, I think I have a Worgen Priest that I used the auto level up to, and so he's a Shadow Priest. I think I got him
Nice.
to like.
Yeah, Shadow Priests are really fun. But I like healing with my priest more because he looks like the Pope. Although it would be funny to Shadow Pope, I guess would be
Shadow Pope.
that'd be an interesting character. Maybe I'm gonna respec Shadow now.
It's easy enough
'cause-
to switch your spec.
Yeah, I'm
now,
just gonna
so-
switch to Shadow and be the Shadow Pope. But yeah, so in World of Warcraft, you can do something called transmogrifying, which basically it makes your gear look like something else. So like, let's say you don't like what your gear looks like. If you got another piece of gear that you really like the look of it, but you don't want to put it on because the stats aren't as good, you can just go to the transmogrifier and he can make your current gear look like that other piece of gear. So I just created this transmog that makes my priest look like the Pope, and it's hilarious. So I'm having a lot of fun just messing around in dungeons and questing as the Pope. And
I gotta say, leveling up my hunter with you, I definitely prefer the hunters as they were before, because.
Before what?
But like, I guess years ago,
When they had
like in
mana?
vanilla, no, like, well, the first level, the
Back
first
in the
person
day.
the first character I leveled was a Tauren hunter, and like you got to use pretty much all the different traps. Right now, I'm like, yeah, I'm not that high level, I'm just level 25, but the only trap I have access to right now is just the frost trap,
Yeah.
and like I don't feel like I do a lot of damage, like in the when it comes to the dungeons that I've been doing with you. Like I feel like everyone else is doing way more damage.
Or
We're just
puzzle.
gonna have to cut this part out.
That's fine.
Hello.
Welcome back.
I wanted to know when it was gonna happen so that I could tell us to stop, so we'd have a good place to cut.
Yep.
Which is what we're doing
We
right
got
now.
you covered.
Okay, we're gonna go play.
Well, I didn't want to trap you guys out there either. Like, make it so like, hey, don't come in. Good luck, have fun.
You guys can't come in for another.
Yeah.
You guys want to play Mario Kart?
Yes.
Oh, I thought you said you were gonna go tanning. I'm like, what?
Yes.
They're gonna go tanning.
I mean, it
in
wouldn't
that
be a
room.
bad idea.
Go ahead.
Sorry.
They're gonna go sunburning.
Oh.
A sunburn.
The kitty's in there.
Okay.
Okay.
I didn't stop it. I don't know why I was going to.
So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Anyways, you were talking about your Worgen, right?
Yeah, the hunter. Like I like the hunter, but I haven't been. I liked them as they were before they reworked them to have like, because like you could have all the traps and have your pet. Like I think if you're just gonna if you're gonna focus on traps and stuff like that, you can't have a pet.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Which makes me sad because I like traps, but I like having the pet too. I guess I'm being selfish. I want everything, but
He wants
Well,
his
hunters-
cake and he wants to eat it too.
Well, hunters used to have everything.
yeah. So I guess I miss that,
Yeah.
but it's still fun. Like I still have my other characters that I hop onto a little bit, but for the most part, I've been playing with him and his priest and his dad.
Yeah, my dad plays WoW. My dad and I have been playing WoW for like 10 years. That's how we bond a lot. So, but yeah, that's all I played this week.
My dad
gentlemen.
doesn't love me enough to play video games with me. He just gives me money and stuff like that. It sucks.
Jeez, what a horrible dad, just giving you money.
What a life.
I
Hey, Dad,
know.
you want to give me
Life.
money?
What if he does?
That'd be nice.
Okay, all right.
Hey, Dad, I need to upgrade my computer a little bit more, so if you could give me some...
Well, okay, so on to gaming news. Now, we already did talk about the updates to Sea of Thieves,
Overwatch.
Overwatch. Let's talk about the Nintendo Labo.
Again.
Yeah, so the real update here is that it's not selling all that well. At least not as well as it seems they
Surprise,
expected it
surprise.
to. At least like from the initial shipment they sent. And this is probably a little bit old, the amount of percentage I'm going to give that was sold, but it was like 30% was sold in like the first week or something like that, which was not what they were expecting, and or they just wanted to get it on shelves because it is more of like a toy kind of item.
Right.
So I'm not really sure what their goal is exactly, but it doesn't seem to have been selling as well, at least as they would have liked it to. So I mean, I actually watched a couple of podcasts where they were creating Labo creations, and I have to say, like, for me, maybe not as much my thing because I've never been a huge builder or like puzzle person, and it seems a lot more for that kind of person. But I think for those kind of people, it is pretty great. Like, it's pretty complex. There's a lot of steps. It is just expensive, and I think that's probably the reason is the cardboard section of it, and then it being expensive along with it being cardboard might make parents especially wary to give it to their children. And there's already been pictures of destroyed Labos from children, so it's
So
not
I
an
was right
unfounded
100%.
fear. Right? Yeah, of course. But
congratulations.
but it's also gotten really good reviews because those that, especially adults, and even kids, but even adults seem to really enjoy it while it lasts.
Mm-hmm.
So the staying power might not be as strong as it should be for the price, and it doesn't seem to be selling well, so it's showing, I guess. But that's really the only update I have for that.
Okay.
Could I like offer,
Yeah.
I guess, my thoughts on it?
No.
Oh,
Yes, go
okay. Sorry. Anyways, so I watch a Nintendo YouTube channel called Nintendo Prime. It's this guy named Nate who is just a huge Nintendo fan. He used to be the editor-in-chief of Zelda Informer, a really popular Zelda website. But he has his own channel now called Nintendo Prime. So he follows Nintendo, like everything, pretty much. And he talked about this, I think it was either today or yesterday, about how Labo hasn't been doing very well. And there was a comment I read in one of his videos that, like, maybe from a commercial standpoint, it's not going to be successful. But maybe Nintendo should focus more on the education side of it. And then maybe they could find a market for it there. Is maybe trying to get it into schools and trying to get it, like getting kids interested in like basic programming or basic building and stuff.
Because you can actually program
Yeah,
it to
'cause
do different things.
there's
so
like
you can
basic
create your
programming.
own Labo things.
Mhm. So maybe that market would be better for them. But it's like you said, it's expensive, it's cardboard, it's actually kind of complex to build. Kids can't really do it by themselves.
except for maybe like the RC
Except for
car.
like the super simple stuff.
But
so
yeah,
I'm-
like the piano I saw being built took a long time, and
Yeah.
also the fishing rod, and those aren't even a robot.
Yeah.
So
So it's like I said, it's expensive, complex. That's why I didn't see it selling very well, and it's showing. But I think maybe if Nintendo shifts the focus of it into other markets, I think it could
or
be
lowers the
successful.
price.
Or lowers the price. Plus, it hasn't even been out for a month yet. I mean,
Yeah, it's hard to say.
It's hard to say, but as of right now, God of War is completely destroying it. But I mean, that's still
God of War is number one. Right
God
now.
of War is
It
a
is.
game, and this is more of a toy kind of thing.
Right.
But
Everything that I've read about it basically speculates that Nintendo being innovative in this way will make it worth it for the long run. But as of now, it's something that they just kind of have to deal with when it comes to the sales, even if it isn't what they were hoping. And I think a lot of that has to come into patenting technology. I know that the Nintendo Switch has, they have functions that are patented within it that you don't even use in any of the games, such as they eventually want to do more with augmented reality. Now, the Nintendo Labo seems to fit in that kind of realm, because if you had like a fishing rod and some augmented reality fish or something, that sounds awesome. And I know that will eventually sell and do well in the future as technology continues to rise. But I mean, it seems like maybe they're getting ahead of themselves so much, or are they just being the first ones to kind of be brave enough to go after that? What do you think?
Well, I'd say they're no stranger to flops, and they're no stranger to successes. So they usually take it in stride pretty well. I mean, the Wii was incredibly successful. The Wii U was a total flop, and then they rebounded with a like idea, because the Wii U was a tablet, just not as great because you couldn't really take it too far away. And they moved to the Switch, which is like a hybrid, and people love it. So I think maybe it's possible that Labo won't sell as well as they hoped. Or maybe it will, or maybe they'll take something else later from that and make it something better, like they did from the Wii U to the Switch. Because I mean,
could see
they've
that.
proven they have a track record. Yeah, they have flops because they do try things, but then they usually come back with something that's going to be good. So I would say it's possible.
And I guess that's one thing I kind of like about Nintendo is even if I don't agree with them a lot sometimes, like, the last time we talked about Labo, I told you how vocal I was against it. But, at least they're trying something new and they tend to learn from their mistakes. Sony learned from the PS3 and then they have the most successful console this generation. And then Nintendo learned from the Wii U and they're about to have the most successful console of next generation, I guess. So, I mean, that's a debate, but the Switch is doing well. So I guess if they do something else with Labo, I'll open my mind more to it to see if they improve it in some way. But for now, just not interested. So
Is the Labo just Switch exclusive?
yeah,
it has to use the
it has to.
Joy-Cons,
It literally
use the
uses
Switch.
the Switch's hardware for it. So.
Yeah, I don't know too much about the Labo. I saw the honest trailers for it. It made me laugh.
Haven't seen it.
Okay, now I gotta go watch that because that sounds hilarious.
Man.
Yeah, I'm not much of a builder.
So you have to buy the Switch and then all of that.
And then
But
the
I mean,
card,
but that's
yeah.
you can say that about anything that's exclusive. To get
Yeah, well, the Switch
PlayStation VR, I have to own a PlayStation.
play God of War.
To play God of War, I have to own a PlayStation. I can't just buy it.
Sure, but like we know how expensive the Labo is.
But I mean, it's
And-
comparable.
but- yeah,
$60.
But you only have to buy one PlayStation VR. But there's like many different Labos out there.
Yeah, but the one Labo set does come with like 5 different things.
It does?
One of them does. The one
I
comes
think
with
the
just
variety
the robot.
one.
The variety one's like $60
Yeah, I
and comes
still
with
think
like
it's
5 different
probably
things.
a little overpriced, but I mean, but
I'm
I
not
guess-
saying it isn't. I'm just saying like it is comparable. Like if you have $60 to spend and you already have a Switch and you're like, oh cool, or 70, whatever it is, I want to buy this. It's not going to set you back any further than it would if you owned a PlayStation and bought God of War. So, or
Okay.
especially if you bought God of War Collector's Edition, which probably could go
Wasn't it
$100.
80? I thought you guys said it was 80 last
The
week.
robot one's
The
80.
robot one is
variety
80.
pack is 70, I think.
Oh.
So it's going to be about the same price, if not even a little bit cheaper, depending on what you're going to buy. And
Yeah.
so I don't know. Yeah, God of War is going to get you more hours though. So there's that too.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So that's all for gaming news. Let's move on to the main topic. And our topic this week, it revolves around handheld gaming. We're talking about the Switch and the Labo. But I want to kind of talk about and get our opinions on overall world of handheld gaming, both past, present, and future. The first thing is, let's just talk about the past. Do you remember the first handheld gaming device or game you ever played?
Yes.
I had a Game Boy Color.
Me too.
Game Boy Color?
Bought it from a friend. came with 2 games, Mario and Pokemon Yellow.
All right.
And that's all I ever
Those
had.
were the first 2 games that me and my sister got.
And that's all I ever had for it. And still have somewhere. I actually found it recently and played some Mario. For like a second.
I got Pokemon Gold. That was my first game, and then my sister got the Mario game.
Okay.
And but we got it at Walmart, and the reason my parents, like I've talked about before, they've got, when I was first growing up, they're kind of against video games for the most part. But this was one they sent me and my sister to live in Canada for a month, and so
Because you were so bad.
yes, no, it was to learn Spanish.
To learn Spanish in Canada?
Well, my grandma. Okay,
Not
so
French.
a little bit about
Or English.
my family. My mom's side of the family, they're all Peruvian, but most of them live in Canada. So,
Oh, right.
so they got us. So we were gonna go on a road trip. Our family took us on a road trip there. That was like about 12, 13 hours. Which as an adult, I've done that before. It sucks, but as a kid, it sucks even more. So that's why they got us Game Boys to kind of keep us entertained on the way there. And I got the little flashlight with it.
Yeah.
You would,
Oh,
you would plug
that
into
thing.
it. It drained your batteries like no other, but you had some.
See?
But you could see.
That was important sometimes.
Because it was before the
Backlit.
the screen was backlit or anything.
Only 90s kids will remember playing a Game Boy in a car and waiting to pass by the street lights to see what you were doing.
Well, that's why they bought with us that thing, that little flashlight thing.
Okay,
You
so
would plug into the side and just.
Game Boy Color, Game Boy Color.
Well, I think the first thing I probably would have had was those. Do you ever remember those? Like they're like almost like mini arcade handhelds because they'd play one game.
Oh.
Like
yeah.
I could like do like the I don't even remember what it's called. It's like Space Invaders essentially, but like a knockoff brand. Basically the same thing though. You'd shoot stuff coming
Space
down. It was like
Intruders?
Centipede.
Space Intruders.
It was like Centipede.
Galaxy
It might have actually
Intruders.
been more like Centipede, but either way, it was like this cool, like green, almost like spacey, ugly, basically, but cool for a kid. And it would play one game. That was it. I think I had like 2 of those. I don't even remember what the other one was, but the space one was my favorite, so I played all the time. But it literally had one game. It was like almost like you'd play an arcade game. So that was like the first thing I ever had. And then I bought a Game Boy Color for my friend because they'd always get the cool stuff. So they got a better handheld, and they sold it to me for like $15.
It's good having friends like that.
Yeah, so I bought that from them. So I think that was my first real handheld.
Okay.
But I did have those like one-off games.
Right, yeah, and I guess it does depend on how we define a handheld game because I was going to say I owned the Game Boy before Game Boy Color, just the Game Boy. I had it, and I remember I had a Bugs Bunny, Escape the Castle Bugs Bunny game, and funny thing, I actually played that a month ago and beat it again. I still have it because I found it, packed away in all my junk, and I played it again. Surprised how it still works,
No, like technology back then was durable.
They don't make them like
True.
they used to.
I could drop that thing all over the place.
Yeah, and so
I did.
So I did have the original Game Boy, but if we're wanting to be technical, I did own a Tamagotchi.
Oh boy.
No,
man,
I had one of those
I forgot
those
about
when
that.
I was 8.
Okay,
Oh
yeah.
my gosh, I had a
So
little purple one.
I had a pet T-Rex.
Ooh.
I think I had a wolf, maybe. I don't actually remember. It's a really long time ago.
That was
Anyway.
like 19 years ago, dude.
I know. even more. I had mine like when I was 6.
Oh, jeez.
So
20-ish, yeah.
Nick, did you ever own a Tamagotchi?
No, I never owned a Tamagotchi. I know what they are.
Like, do you even know what a
I know what a
Tamagotchi
Tamagotchi is.
Unlike Pogs.
I didn't know what Kiefer was talking about, but because I don't know if I ever had one.
I don't know either, but do you still? I remember.
I'll throw up a picture, maybe.
Yeah,
Or we won't. Who knows?
2
We should probably
podcasts
do
ago, we were talking about like those fishing games or the
yeah.
baseball things. But you didn't
I
know what
didn't
we were
know
talking
what those
about.
were.
I'm going to find one right now and show it to you and see if you know
okay.
what we're talking about.
Um,
In the meantime, what was your first handheld?
My first handheld was the Game Boy Advanced SP.
The one that had a backlit screen.
Yes, the one that had
Yes.
the backlit
Oh, I had an
screen.
SP too, but Nicholas lost it.
Yeah,
Ah,
and it wasn't the original Game Boy Advance. It was the SP version that had the clamshell design.
Yeah.
I think the SP stand for Superpower. I can't remember what it stood for, but
I
that's
never
what
knew what it stood for.
that's what I assumed it stood for was Game Boy Advance Superpower. So I felt like a
Is
cool
that what it
kid.
stood for?
I don't know.
I'm going to search
Let's
for
look
it
that
right
up now. But yeah, I had the Game Boy Advance SP with the backlit screen, and I got it for Christmas. I distinctly remember being at my my grandpa's house, and me and all my cousins got one, and it was pretty awesome. The first 2 games I got for it were Mario vs. Donkey Kong and an Incredibles game, like, the Pixar movie, The Incredibles.
Never heard of it.
Yeah. Yeah, never heard of the sequel coming out in a month anyway.
Okay, SP stands for special.
Really? That's what it stood for?
That's terrible.
The Game Boy
Game Boy
Advance Special.
It sounds better saying it all together like that, but then say special. Like it's...
This is my special.
Son, we got you this because we think you're special.
Alright, so this is not the exact one that I had. Mine looked a little bit cooler, but this is like the exact same shape.
Okay. Whoa.
Yeah, that's a
That is
thing.
horribly ugly.
Wow.
See if I can show it on the camera.
Like, that is really ugly.
Yeah,
It's bad.
Wow.
Ooh, I lost the focus there. Well, I think I showed it for a second, maybe.
How about we could have just, put it on the
there you go.
screen. You could have just
That's it.
edited it in later, but
Coulda, shoulda, woulda.
Now.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's ugly.
Super.
But yeah, so the Game Boy Advance Special. That was my first one. That sounds way less
feel
cooler.
special?
I guess so.
Now do you feel less special?
I
knowing
feel
that
a
was
lot
the
less
name?
special.
Okay.
I wish I'd never learned that.
Yeah,
now.
see, that was what my friends got. They got the
Game Boy
specials,
Advance
and that's why I got their Game Boy Color. I got my Game Boy Color.
How am I ever going to be able to call it that?
All right, Nick. Here is the baseball
What?
game thing.
Yeah.
You ever seen something
Never
like that?
seen that.
Us 90s kids had a,
Huh.
Yeah?
had a good
Yeah.
life.
Well, I was
So
born
we
in
all
90.
recognize
I was
the
born in
fact-
96, the very beginning of 96. So I guess I just missed out on that. But yeah, so I had the Game Boy Advance. I'm not calling it a special. The Game Boy Advance SP. I had my Mario vs. Donkey Kong game. Really good game, by the way. If
I
you
had a
could,
Dragon Ball Z fighting game on that. That was really
I
good.
played that one a lot.
I think I had
You
that
do
too,
Dragon Ball
actually.
Z games. That's
Yeah.
why you always beat everyone, apparently.
Yeah.
You just played it
Yeah.
from forever, yeah.
Mhm.
Actually, I think I might have played that one too, though.
Oh, yeah,
I played
at a
yours.
friend's house.
I never played mine. I played yours.
It was fun.
Yeah.
Really fun.
But yeah, and then I eventually got Pokemon Fire Red, which was the remake of Pokemon Blue and Red and Yellow, I think. So
All of
I
them.
had Sapphire.
yeah, well,
I
that
had
was
Blue.
a different
I had
generation.
yellow.
I had
That's
the
all I
first
ever
blue.
owned, ever.
Yes.
My entire existence of Pokemon
But yeah.
was just yellow.
I used it a lot though. I used that because my parents and I
So did
took
I.
a lot of road trips and we moved a lot. So I actually used my Game Boy Advance SP a lot. So
I also
had a
like how
lot of
they
games
called the
on it.
Game Boy Color because
What?
there was not a lot of color in Game Boy, or not Game Boy Advance, just Game Boy Color.
Yeah, I mean there was color.
Depending on the game.
But-
I mean,
Boy, was there not much color though.
Well, think
Well,
about
okay,
when it
compared to,
came
like-
out though.
I know. I just think it's funny because when I was playing Mario, I was like, "Oh boy, it's really washed out."
Well, handheld gaming has certainly come
Because
far
with the
since
SP,
then.
it was probably a lot better.
Oh
right?
yeah, for sure. Just the Advance in general was a lot better.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that was the first handheld I had. It was a lot of fun, and then I had I've had every Nintendo handheld since
So
then.
you have a 3DS.
So I got a Game Boy Advance SP, and then I had the Nintendo DS, the DS Lite,
The DS Strong.
No,
DS Mini.
no,
DS heavy.
and
The
then
DS, the DS Macro.
the DS Bigs. And then now I have a 3D. No, then I had a Legend of Zelda Special Edition 3DS,
Which you still have.
and I
but-
still have it, and then he uses it.
Well.
Not recently, but.
and
And then I ended up buying the new 2DS XL because Nintendo got really stupid with their naming and they started to call it the new 2DS, the new 3DS.
So, 2 questions. One's a little bit snarky. One's like a legit question. Why'd they go back to 2DS?
Because
Instead of 3D?
so the 3D feature of the 3DS hurt some people's eyes and just
Oh, okay.
some people just didn't like it and it wasn't really good for children under like at the age of 7. So they give you a cheaper option because like the regular 2DS is like $80.
Yeah, I got
And,
it for
like-
I think I got it for 70 at Walmart.
Yeah, like and like the regular 3DS is like $200.
My other question
So-
for you,
Okay.
and you can tell me which one's snarky and which one's not. What are they going to do when it's no longer new?
I mean technically
Is it going to be the old new 3DS or 2DS?
It's like that restaurant, New Chinese Gourmet. That's an Orem that's been there forever.
Forever. New Chinese
New
gourmet.
Chinese gourmet.
It's always going to be new every single day. They're bringing new employees.
Everyone knows where we live.
You
now.
don't actually have to answer that question. It was-
I know. I don't know what they're gonna call it.
Why don't you know, Nick?
Nintendo.
Why don't you know?
Nintendo says they want to make a successor to the 3DS, but I'm like,
Will they?
But the Switch though.
Okay,
But that
okay.
is a console.
Yeah.
Now
That's
that
the
leads into the next part. Let's talk about handheld gaming now. The Nintendo Switch, it's a console, but you can do it as a handheld. Does it classify?
Yeah?
Yes.
No.
Yeah.
You're just saying that for the sake of disagreeing.
Yeah,
Okay. So is it just like a hybrid?
That's what it's known as. That's what Nintendo advertised. Well, Nintendo advertises it as a home console that can be taken on the go.
They're very protective of it not being...
They don't want it to
A
be called a
handheld.
handheld, even though it's exactly what it is.
Because they said that it wouldn't
Replace the 3DS.
replace the 3DS.
Even though
or
it
the
totally
2DS.
is.
So that was my other question is, it was kind of like when
For most people,
it was kind of like when Apple came out with the iPhone. There's no more iPods. There's no reason to make.
I mean, there are.
But they're so
you're right.
cheap. No one buys them, and so it's like if Nintendo's going this way, does that push out the rest of the handhelds, or are they?
I mean, they're
trying
still
to-
making exclusives for the 3DS.
3DS. They're still making games for it. Yeah.
Huh.
But a lot of people get upset by that because they just want it on their Switch. 'Cause
Yeah.
It's a bigger, better
So,
system.
for example, there was a Mario sports game that came out for the 3DS that had a bunch of different sports on it, and I'm like, that would have been a really good game on the Switch, Nintendo. Why would you not put that on the Switch?
But that's their way of proving to the
that
handheld
they're
market
still
that they're
supporting
still
the
there
3DS.
for them.
that they're still there for them, but
Even
does
though
it
most of them
force-
probably have the Switch.
Does it force people to buy it? Is it just a scheme to get you to
buy both?
To buy both.
Well,
I mean, it kind of is.
Well, yeah. It's not good business practice in the long run if you do that.
Yeah. Well, you have to think. Well, so you have to think about the history of Nintendo here. So the N64 and the GameCube, even though we have fond memories of them, actually didn't do very well from a sales standpoint. It was Nintendo's handhelds.
I mean, I certainly didn't own one. My friends did. I
Yeah.
played with them.
but
so-
I owned an N64 and a GameCube, but they didn't do well.
I'm guessing
which
your
is-
friends played with you because they
yeah,
probably didn't have
yeah,
one.
exactly.
So it wasn't in everyone's household.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
I had a 64
it
and a
was.
GameCube, and everyone came to my house.
Yeah, so there you go.
I had no friends.
But so it's Nintendo's handhelds that have kept them alive, honestly.
Really?
The Game Boy was a massive success.
Yeah.
The DS, massive success. 3DS has been a moderately good success. It's been pretty
did well.
successful.
It did
And
well.
the 3DS held Nintendo up while the Wii U was constantly failing every day.
Luckily, they were
Interesting.
also had the Wii to help.
Yeah,
them.
and then the Wii was a huge success, but I consider the Wii an anomaly, which a lot of Nintendo YouTubers have said, because it captured that casual market before smartphones became a big thing. So like everyone and their grandma, literally, my grandma has a Wii, had a Wii. So the Nintendo's handhelds have really held them up.
Even with that terrible name,
Yeah, even
Wii was not a good name in my opinion.
yeah, it wasn't. But yeah, Nintendo was really protective of their handhelds, and I think that's another reason they don't want the Switch to replace the 3DS yet, because they're so protective of it. But really, I just want them to stop. Like, the 3DS came out in 2011. Like, it's 7-year-old system at this point.
And I hear a lot of people that agree with you. That
Yeah.
are very avid, have multiple DSs, love it,
They're
but
like,
they just want.
but they're like, but the Switch is 1,000 times better. It can play freaking Doom, like 2016 Doom. I mean, it doesn't play it well, but like,
But it plays.
but comparing the
Take that
3DS,
3DS.
like comparing even the new 3DS's power to the Switch's power, like the Switch is astronomically more powerful than the 3DS. Like, get all your handheld games on there, Nintendo. You want this system in every person's household? Drop the 3DS. It's time. And then there are people who are against me, like, well, what if I don't have I haven't bought a Switch yet. I want to keep playing my 3DS. I'm like, but why?
And stop being poor.
Okay, that's
Well, no, but at that point, is that console generation or handheld generation over? Because most of them end at some point.
yeah.
And that can be said about anything. Like, even computers, like PC Master Race, those kind of people love to be like, oh, well, it'll never be bad for me. But it will be, because you have to get a new video card and graphics card and more RAM eventually, because you won't be able to run a game.
Well, like 5 years down the road, yeah.
Well, it depends on what you buy.
Yeah.
If you buy a cheap computer because you don't have a lot of money, then you're going to have to upgrade a lot more quickly.
True.
But, like, the point is, like, eventually everything runs its course. And I think that's
Yeah.
kind of what you're saying is it had a good life It
Just let it die.
played well.
Yeah.
You loved it.
I
You're not
had a-
saying anything bad about it.
I
but
loved
it's
my
just-
3DS.
It's time.
It's time. The Switch is 1,000 times better.
So
Switch, isn't it about time?
It's time. It's about time to switch.
All of our non-Mormon.
So you're in
viewers
that
are
boat
like, what?
of, do you think the handhelds for Nintendo should be, they should stop investing in it and focus on.
I think they should. I think they should put all hands on deck on the Switch. It's been so successful. It's so popular. They've created a handheld that is pretty powerful. That can play a lot of games, like not just the dumb little handheld games, but full console games like The Legend of Zelda:
And the
Breath of
only
the Wild.
successful one.
Yeah, and the only successful one. That's another point I wanted to say is that Sony in the past has tried to make handhelds. The only moderately successful Sony handheld was the PSP,
And it did okay.
and it
still was a
but it still got destroyed by Nintendo
yeah,
handhelds.
it still couldn't do what
Yeah,
Switch has been able to
and what's
do.
funny is the PlayStation handhelds or Sony's handhelds, like they were a lot more powerful than Nintendo handhelds. Some people would even argue that the PS Vita is still technically more powerful than the Switch, but it flopped super hard. And so,
And a lot of that's the marketing and also the audience that Nintendo has because they already have. They know, first of all, how to capture a handheld audience because they've done it for years. So they're able to put those games on there.
Yeah.
And then they're also, they didn't forget about core gamers for once.
Nope.
Because they tend to do that sometimes.
Yeah.
And they released immediately 2 Game of the Year games, essentially. One that won it, but Mario Odyssey and Zelda, 2 open world games that adults can play. I know we talked about that before, but immediately coming out with those games and going after third party like Doom, like that's unheard of for
And
Nintendo.
Skyrim.
And Skyrim, like that's insane. They've never tried that stuff before, really.
Well, the NES had a lot of third-party support, but
Yeah, but it's not
The
same
NES.
anymore. How many years ago was that?
yeah, exactly. But now they're back to that.
Yeah, so that's my point is like
NES has run its course.
my point was they marketed it well, and they captured all audiences at once. I don't remember any marketing at all for any of the PlayStation handhelds that I can remember. Like nothing sticks in my memory.
I maybe saw one ad for the PlayStation
I'm
Portable,
sure there was.
but
It's
I was so young.
Nothing. And also, to be fair, I will. This full disclosure is I've never owned a PlayStation console. I don't hate it. I just don't care about it enough to get one. And if I had enough money and time, I would have one. But the full disclosure, that might be part of the reason is I don't look out for PlayStation stuff.
Right.
Maybe. But they did a Super
that
Bowl
could be
ad
why.
for the Switch. I mean, when the Switch was new, they did a Super Bowl ad for it. I mean, everyone saw that.
At this point, the only
Ryan
way
didn't.
no, I didn't. No, at this point, I would only get a PlayStation 4 for the VR because I want to do
I
the
would not do it for
Skyrim,
that.
the Skyrim VR.
Heathen.
I really want to try Skyrim VR. That's really the only reason I want because that is such a cool idea. But
Would you want to
I-
play Kingdom Hearts 3 with me? Or
oh
separate
yeah,
from
but
me
I
for
think
the-
I can. I should be able to
PlayStation
buy that
VR.
on the Xbox One.
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
it's coming to
But
the
I'm not
Xbox.
gonna-
That's right.
But now Nick has a PS4, so
That'd be so weird to play that.
The only
on
reason
a
I would get
Xbox.
PlayStation would be for Last of Us, God of War, Horizon Zero Dawn. I think that's pretty much it. And I guess Last of Us 2 if that's good and comes out, which probably will be good.
So
But PlayStation VR I would never get because I'm not a heathen. I would get the good VR systems like Vive or Oculus.
yeah, you have a pretty nice PC now, so you could.
I guess that's true. But Skyrim VR, I love
You can
Skyrim.
probably get that on.
You can-
Loans.
it's probably
I think you
on
can.
Steam.
I'll look it up right now while
Yeah.
someone else talks about
Okay.
something.
All right, so we've been talking about what is happening right now, but what handheld gaming do we play right now? We can discount the Switch for now because that's what we were just
Phone.
talking about. Phone. Okay, I thought you
Just-
just dancing.
Well, literally,
phone.
that's the only other handheld I play is my phone.
I
mean,
thought you played
That's the big
a DS currently.
No,
Yeah,
like
doesn't
so Nick and I
matter.
bought the Ultra Moon and Ultra Sun
for Pokemon.
for Pokemon, and I literally have played it maybe three times.
yeah,
And-
same.
Why though? Why?
I think
I
Pokemon
just-
is starting to lose its charm for me.
Well,
Honestly,
that too, but like if I'm gonna be playing a game, I'd rather be playing with friends, or because I mean the whole reason that Nick and I got it was so we could battle each other.
yeah.
But I mean, you have to put so much time in it alone before you can actually start, playing with other people.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I mean, if I'm gonna be playing games, I'm usually playing with friends,
Okay.
or if I am playing alone, I'm still playing on like Heroes, where I'm playing online with other people, or something that can actually give me, I guess, results. Because with with Pokemon, it's just really just there's no ranking system or anything. You just level up your team to play with your friends. And
Right.
Nick is literally the only person I would play that with. And since he hasn't been playing it either, I haven't really
Yeah.
been.
I just have other
Motivated.
priorities in my gaming needs right now.
Okay.
Well, no, I'm okay with that because I've been wanting to play other games too. But like,
Yeah.
if like, and I feel like we feed off each other. I'm sure if I was playing more, then you would probably play it more. And if you
Yeah,
were
we
playing more,
we
then
kind
I
of
would-
do that.
Then I would play it more.
Like you're playing WoW again
Yeah,
because I
'cause,
started
yeah.
playing WoW again.
So it was an exclusive for PlayStation, and according to multiple websites, it came out April 3rd.
We're talking about
for-
Skyrim
Sky-
VR.
Sky-
Yeah,
VR.
sorry, I'm going back in time. It came out for Vive and Oculus April 3rd.
Oh, so it is out on those things now.
Oh.
And it should,
Because you
Oh.
do those through PC, right? The
And-
Vive and the Oculus.
yes.
Yeah.
And do Vive.
And they look better.
The Vive looks better.
You and Nick today.
I personally would
Is the Vive
get
the
the
thing-
Vive because that's the one where you have more motion control options, and then with the lighthouses where you can actually move.
Is that the one that Jeremy sells?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, has.
Has.
He doesn't sell it, but yeah, that's one he has. It's a guy we work with. He owns a company that goes around and lets people do VR for like a charge.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, we'll probably have him on eventually to talk about VR because he knows more than any of us do.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
I actually know a lot, but just never really done it that much, so it's sad.
Yeah.
Anyways,
But I just play my phone for.
Okay, yeah, so let's talk about, smartphones and how that has changed handheld gaming because
Ruined it.
yeah.
Well,
In
I
a
guess I wouldn't
sense.
say ruined. It's just like you said, it's changed because nothing else can compare really.
And it's just it's going the way technology is going. There has to be there's going to be a change. No longer we talk about the Nintendo still wants to push their own exclusive handheld games, but if everyone already has their phones that can run good stuff, they don't also want to hold on to something else as well. And do you think? I know Nintendo comes out with games like
They're gonna come out with their own phone.
well,
Well, they released like Mario Run. For
exactly.
phones only.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Although
And
I
Fire Emblem
I
Heroes.
played on my tablet.
Yeah.
Oh, that's still
yeah,
mobile.
I know. Yeah.
Yeah.
But like for example, I was able to play Pokemon Green on my phone.
With an
Uh,
emulator.
Yeah, with
Pokemon Green. What the heck is that?
Leaf green.
Leaf
oh,
Green.
Leaf Green.
Yeah, because I got them in
Wow, much
I
different.
was gonna say, like, what was the difference there? One word.
Oh, Leaf Green. Now I know exactly what you're
Whoa.
talking
Well,
Like,
like Japan
I could
actually
not
did.
figure it out.
There was a Japanese exclusive Pokemon Green.
Oh.
That's what Nick was thinking about.
Yeah, exactly.
Exclusive.
Oh,
that was
he's
like-
more knowledgeable.
I'm cultured.
But that was like it ran alongside with Pokemon Red and Blue, and so like because I saw Pokemon Green once, but like I didn't speak Japanese, but I still don't. So I
My
didn't
sister
play
does.
it. Oh, yeah, Teal does, yeah.
Congrats.
Yeah.
She can
got-
play.
she
She can
got
play
keep
it. She can play Pokemon Green.
Oh, isn't it supposed to be up?
No,
His other sleeves
it's
like
been
that
bothering
too.
me the whole time.
It's been bothering me too. Let's just fix it.
I didn't
On-
even-
on-
Other side.
on
I'm here
camera.
too.
I guess.
No Omo.
I guess I need help. Guess I need help getting dressed in the morning. Anyways.
Ryan, you live with him. You should help him out before he leaves the doors. He'd be like, Nick, let me see you before you leave.
Nick's like, I'm gonna cut this part.
Anyways, so you played Pokemon Leaf Green on your
Anyway.
phone.
Do you also remember that old-time Simpsons arcade game that you would...
Simpsons Hit and Run? Was that what it was called?
No,
No,
it-
it's just the Simpsons.
it's Simpsons
Oh.
arcade game that you play
Oh.
at arcades. I
Oh.
can play it on my phone.
Oh,
There's
okay.
like not a game you can't play like from the past on your phone.
And even the new games that they're coming out with are pretty good. Like there's that Marvel game that what was it called? The Champ Marvel Champions or something. Oh no, the graphics
Contest
on
of Champions?
Contest of Champions.
Is that
or
right?
something.
I used to play it.
It's really like the graphic. I don't play it very often. I'll play it maybe once a month, but still like the graphics on that game were pretty good for a phone game.
Phone games are starting to look really good. I mean, we got PUBG on it and Fortnite.
I'd say the biggest issue I have with phone games is the controls.
Yeah.
It's hard to control it, and even if they give you the little joystick, like the virtual ones.
That's just another piece of equipment. You have
But
to
they're
buy.
also like phones, even the really big ones aren't that big. And you can get add-ons, I guess, probably, for controllers.
But who buys those? Let's be honest.
I actually know someone that did.
Okay, so that's one person.
But
But they're not a huge market.
that would be
They're small.
the thing that I would say is my biggest turnoff for like shooters or things like that, or like even exploration games, is that it's hard to control. On a
Yeah.
phone. The touch controls are amazing. I mean, phones have improved the way they touch and can sense all of those things and even motion like amazingly. But past that, it's still hard.
Has anyone here played Fortnite or PUBG on the phone?
No.
Nicholas has.
Is
You
Fortnite still free?
His brother.
Is Fortnite still free on the phone?
Yes.
Yep.
Probably. I mean, no, it wouldn't be.
Yeah,
Um,
it's still free. It's only on iPhones.
iPhone.
It's only on
which
iPhone
Keithan
right
has
now.
because he's a scrub.
Fortnite?
Yeah, Fortnite is only
cooler.
available on phones or iPhones right
Kind of
now.
like Mario
Interesting.
Run.
It is coming to Android, but it's only available.
You can
on
get
iPhones right
Mario
now.
Run on Android now, can't
Yeah,
you?
I think
couldn't at first.
Mario went
Yeah.
to iOS first, but now it's on Android.
Well,
Oh, it has 103 million downloads.
Fortnite
or likes
mobile?
or ratings. That's just ratings. 103 million people.
Fortnite mobile?
Yeah.
We
Wow.
got a 4.6.
A million, not 100. I don't know how I switched
Wow.
I was like, wow.
that. A million. Yeah, 1.03
That's
million
crazy.
ratings. That's just ratings.
That's
a lot.
ridiculous.
I'm sure a lot of those are probably. Well, actually, that's a really good rating too. 4.6 out of 5.
That's very
Like
good.
I thought a lot of people.
Well, I've
people
heard it's
hate it.
really good on phones, so
I didn't think it would be,
I've-
so I never decided
I've
to
heard
get it.
people
But
say
now we're
it
talking
is
about it, so
difficult.
I'll get it.
I mean
It is-
to control, yeah, but
So then why? I mean, yeah, okay, maybe it runs well, but if it's hard to play,
Yeah.
then what's the point?
I don't know. One of my coworkers has PUBG on his phone and he likes it, but I'm like,
I mean, if
I'll just play
PUBG
it on
on
my PC.
Xbox still kind of sucks,
It's hard
man,
enough.
I can't even imagine on mobile.
It's
Actually,
hard
it
to
runs
see.
better on the phone.
Why?
But I'm sure it doesn't look half as good.
Not really, but it runs like 1,000 times.
But why?
Fortnite's-
Why would it run better?
I don't know. We're trying to ask the developers that why it runs better on the phone than it does on the Xbox.
Developers, if you were watching this,
I'm sure it
please let us
costs
know.
money though.
Yeah, I would still just
Fortnite
rather
is
play it on
starting to look
computer.
pretty good. I played with Adam last week, and Fortnite looked a lot better.
Yeah, Fortnite's gotten a lot of updates. It's come
And
a
their
long way.
Comet finally hit.
What?
That even-
Oh, the
Is
Comet,
that-
yeah, for season
Is that
4.
free? Is PUBG also free?
Yeah, PUBG should be free on phones.
Shit, let's get them both then.
I bought it.
Just so I can say I've
Jeez.
tried.
Yeah, PUBG's free on
Well,
phones.
I mean, okay, so I didn't buy it. To be fair, I just share it with a
I played
friend on
PUBG
Xbox.
once, and I couldn't
Oh,
figure out how to
Because
realize.
Xbox can share.
I played
I mean,
Fortnite because
Half-Life,
it
I
was
didn't buy
free.
it. I
That's
played
why
it
I don't
on
play PUBG
Steam.
because it costs money, and
I
Fortnite's
mean,
better.
I didn't have to pay money
So-
for PUBG, but that's
I
because
would
have
disagree
Xbox
with
share
you.
with
I would
you.
disagree too, but
Fortnite runs better, so that's why I play it.
it runs better.
On
I
all-
would say
on all
they
platforms,
they
yeah.
have their differences. It depends on what you.
PUBG's more like gritty. It has more realistic.
I like them both,
but
but I feel like it's kind of straying away from the topic.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Anyway,
anyways.
handheld gaming. So I mean, none of us, I think, would be safe to say that we play any handheld gaming consoles right now, right?
not a lot.
But do we all play on our phones?
Yes.
yeah,
Okay.
he actually got me into playing Bejeweled.
Bejeweled Blitz or which one?
Just
I
the
have
classic
Blitz.
classic
Classic
Bejeweled.
I have the Blitz version
Yeah, I like the classic Bejeweled because
Wow.
I used to play.
because I'm cooler.
I used to play classic Bejeweled on my aunt's computer from like 20 years ago or something. Well, no, it wasn't that long ago.
Yeah, I had
but the
a-
computer
like, on
itself
the-
is
on
probably that
Facebook.
old.
All right.
Just
But
on
yeah,
Facebook
but yeah,
accounts.
now I can play that on my phone. I just play it on my breaks at work. So
Okay. So, then let's talk about the future. Where do we see handheld gaming in the future? We can go back to the Switch here and maybe talk about, do we see PlayStation or Xbox trying to do what the Switch is doing? Do we see
I
that?
mean, PlayStation tried and failed. I don't think Xbox will because they already have their
Xbox
PC
has
market.
never
It's
tried it.
Microsoft,
yeah,
so they have all their PC stuff. So I doubt that they'd ever care, honestly.
Really?
I
So-
don't- Xbox won't.
Now, usually when we think about handheld, we think about Game Boys. And it's dominated the market forever. And so will Nintendo just continue to
dominate the
be the one, to have the monopoly on handheld
Yes,
gaming?
yes,
Okay.
they will. Because think of it this way: A lot of people criticized the Switch when it was first revealed because, like, well, everyone just plays on their smartphones. What's another handheld going to do? Another handheld isn't going to sell. And then the Switch is selling, like, insanely well.
Because you can play like Breath of the Wild.
But yeah, like, the Switch is still a lot more powerful than smartphones. And it has different architecture, I think, as well, for, like, developing. I'm not sure. You don't quote me on that, but I think it does.
I'm going to quote you on that.
Yeah, you're going to quote me on that. But Nintendo has proven that, and even the 3DS is still selling decently, even with the phone. Like, the 3DS came out with the rise of the smartphones, like, in 2011. So, and it still did okay.
I'll disagree with you.
With what? Wait, which part?
That that Nintendo will continue to dominate it. I think Nintendo's going to kill it with the Switch, and then that's going to be what continues. So it's going to be less about the mobile. I guess you could technically call it mobile at that point. Maybe
Also, they're just keep doing variations of the Switch, is what you're saying.
Yeah, I think eventually they'll stop making any kind of handheld, like only handheld, like Game Boy. And I think, or there just won't be a market for it because why would people want it anymore? I think they're going to kill it off themselves. Maybe not meaning to, but I think they will.
But I mean, the Switch still technically is a handheld.
Okay, so
yeah, I mean, if they decide to call it that,
So they're not really.
They'll continue to.
I guess they're killing the exclusive handheld market,
Yes.
but they're still having they still have a foot in the handheld
besides
market.
phones.
So let me see if we're getting our forecasting correctly. We believe that...
Or I believe.
Okay, well, kind of collectively, in a sense, we believe that Nintendo, in whatever form it takes, Switch or not, they will continue to put handheld mobile stuff out there, whereas mobile gaming on your phone will continue to be around forever. It's not going to... Like, I don't think they're competing against each other. And like those two mediums are going to continue into the future for the foreseeable future, whereas Xbox and PlayStation will continue to just do what they do now. Is that what we're saying?
Which is basically putting out powerful hardware that plays home console games.
Yeah.
And so they focus on the resolution and the performance, whereas Nintendo and mobile gaming is about mobile gaming and stuff like that.
Okay.
So that's my consensus.
All
I mean,
right.
do you two agree with that, though?
Will there ever be mobile handheld VR?
There
It's on
is.
your
There
Gear
is.
VR. I know.
Samsung Gear VR.
I'm just thinking about like when you're like sitting on the train going to work and you like put stuff on and you're like walking.
I mean,
around
that's
the train.
technically
Is
what
it-
the
is-
Gear
is-
VR is.
That's
Yeah,
what
it's
Samsung Gear VR is.
It just then people think that that's what VR is really like, and then they hate it because it sucks, and then they
Even though it's
don't
not
give anything
even-
else a chance. But it's not that good because it's your phone running it, and right now a phone can't do that very well.
Yeah, not right now, anyway.
So yeah, what do you think, Ryan?
No, I think they're gonna probably try sticking with more augmented reality in terms of.
You're talking about Nintendo?
Or Microsoft?
Well, I'm talking about just phones in general.
Oh, phones. Oh, okay.
Like with it's weird because Tanner asked about the VR for phones.
Right.
Like I don't think they're. I mean, obviously they've tried that with the Samsung, and it's apparently not doing that well.
Oh, I'm not saying it didn't do well. I just say it sucked. It probably sold amazing because casual people love it and stuff. So yeah.
Well, I think for the most part, augmented reality has had. It's to me, it seemed like it's had a bigger success just because like stuff like Pokemon Go and I don't know, is that new Harry Potter game, is that augmented reality at all or
Maybe.
I don't
I don't know
know.
what you're talking about. So
It's made by Niantic, isn't it?
I have no idea.
now we'll talk about that next
We can talk
podcast.
about it next time after we've looked into it more. But no, I'm pretty sure that handhelds. I mean, yeah, we've kind of Microsoft. They have no reason to go into it. PlayStation is probably scared to go into it, and
Yeah.
Okay.
Nintendo is probably just gonna keep at it, keep doing what they're doing.
Can you, when you're playing on the Switch, can you, like for example, how Ryan can play Dual Links with me, can you do that with the Switch? Like play Mario Kart against someone else's playing Switch? Like
That's like the whole.
But no, but you're like out and about, like you're like.
Yeah, it has local support for multiplayer.
Well, I'm
Also online.
no,
So he goes home, we can play against each other.
What I'm saying is, can you be on the train going to work, and he's on a different train somewhere else?
If we both had internet.
and you didn't have internet.
No.
No.
That's what I'm saying.
You need internet.
I mean, that would be impossible.
yeah.
Okay, well, I'm saying like, I mean, do you need Wi-Fi or do you?
Yes.
Or, okay.
Yeah,
You need
I
to
mean,
get Wi-Fi.
I'm sure there are Bluetooth
Because, like, we
because
don't
if
need
we were
Wi-Fi.
together, we could play.
We don't need Wi-Fi to play Duel Links. We just need to make sure we have data on our phones. But Switch
Oh,
can't
but
do
that's
that.
but that's still using internet.
We need
Yeah, it's
connection
using
to the
internet, but you don't. But the Switch requires Wi-Fi.
Yes, so you would have to use your phone as a hotspot.
Okay.
It is Wi-Fi only. It doesn't have data or anything.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't pay for data, but like regardless, you still have to use internet to do that.
Yeah.
Although I don't know if that could be wrong, but because if you brought your Switch here, we could easily connect.
Well, because it
Would
has
that be
local
Bluetooth?
wireless support.
Local
It's
wireless.
Bluetooth, yeah.
Okay,
local
so it
wireless
does have
support.
that as well.
It does have local Bluetooth.
So he could
wireless
just bring it
support.
here, and we could all sit in a little circle playing our
The
Switches.
reason why I bring this up is to just talk about the versatility between the two. Is that you need internet, yes, but I don't need Wi-Fi. I can use Wi-Fi or data to play mobile gaming on my phone. But for the Switch, I guess what I'm saying is in the future, do you see maybe a chance where you could be anywhere, maybe using data, just like the phone does, and you don't necessarily need Wi-Fi, and you'll be able to connect the same way you can do it on phones?
I mean, maybe, but I don't think it matters as much because the Switch also has a lot more, like, one-player, story-driven games. So I could be on a plane playing Zelda, having a great time, while you're up there with your phone, hoping that the next microtransaction video doesn't pop up because then you can't play because you don't have internet access. Up
Right.
on
Well, I think the question is that he's asking is the Switch going to have like a data plan?
I'm talking about the distinction between the two,
I
and
don't
if there
think
would
so.
ever be something that
I
would.
don't think they would ever do that.
Unless Nintendo like partnered with Verizon or something, I don't see that.
Is it out of
happening.
the question?
Yes.
They're not very
I don't
forward
think
in
so.
internet speak.
Nintendo was very. I talked about this the first time we talked about Labo. That Nintendo is pretty prehistoric when it comes to internet. So that's not
Okay.
happening for
Well,
20, 30
I mean,
years
they
probably.
They had a small partnership kind of when with Pokemon Go because I know.
Well,
with,
yeah.
I don't know if it was Verizon.
That's a
but
phone
I know-
game.
Yeah, that's a phone game, but I mean, with that same, they have the partnership available now that they've worked with some phone companies to get because I know that I think it was a Sprint or some phone company that gave $100 off of your phone plan for Pokemon Go. Like they would
Really?
give, like if you said that if you brought up the Pokemon Go, then you would get like some kind of discount.
I want to know.
Yeah, you would get some kind of discount, that I mean, Nintendo had to have had some part to take some part in that. I know it was Niantic that made the game, but Niantic and Nintendo partnered up for that, and so I'm sure that Nintendo had some part in collaborating with that phone company.
So like in a couple of years, you'll see like Verizon now has the Nintendo Switch with data.
Why not? We're talking about how innovative Nintendo can be, even if it's not innovative in the sense of internet and cloud storage or whatever. I don't think it's out of the question that we see that. In fact, I
can do it
wouldn't
with
be
tablets.
Well,
surprised.
yeah, tablets have data plans, so but
So
you can.
Why not a Switch?
Yeah, I mean it's literally just a tablet. So I guess you're right. I guess you're right. I think I might have my mind changed here.
Good, because that's what I aim to do in these podcasts is to be right and make everyone wrong.
I still don't think it'll happen in the near future. I'm not saying they couldn't do it. I just
And
don't
maybe in
think
a
they will.
newer variation of the Switch 2. They're not. I hope they don't call it that. Please don't call it that.
Call it the new Switch.
The new Nintendo Switch. Actually,
The Switch Special.
actually, my idea for like a more powerful Switch or like the next Switch, the Super Nintendo Switch,
Super
Oh.
Nintendo.
like the Super Nintendo
That'd be a nice
SNES.
that'd
3D Switch.
Wait, no, please no.
Okay.
But yeah,
3D SP.
Well,
Super Switch.
all right. I think that's a pretty conclusive discussion on how we feel about handheld and mobile gaming. And I am excited to see what the future holds, especially when it comes to Nintendo, and we know how innovative they can be and what they try to do next.
Yeah, that's what I like
Agreed.
about them. They're willing to take risks,
Okay.
even if it blows up in their face.
Yep. So that does it for this week's podcast. Let us know in the comments what you think about handheld gaming. To tell us what your first handheld gaming device was and what you want to see in the future. What do you want to see in terms of handheld or mobile gaming whether it's from Nintendo or just mobile phones in general. And other than that, we have Let's Plays coming out. Which days?
Wednesday and Friday.
Wednesday, Friday.
Wednesday, Friday.
All right, and that is on the Odd Man Out YouTube channel. That is, if you're watching this on YouTube, that's where you're seeing it. if you're listening to this on SoundCloud or anywhere else, Odd Man Out YouTube, check us out and subscribe and like for more content.
Thanks for listening.
Bye bye.
Yeah.
Yeah.